Oh.
This is Annabelle Lecter.
And this is dinner.
And a movie.
Hey, very cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's been a little bit between episodes.
Yeah. None of the movies were good enough to put on the show.
That's true. And then we finally saw one that I think was like, this one deserves a review.
Absolutely. It's pretty different.
Yes, it's very memorable.
I wasn't expecting it.
I was very excited. It was, we're going to go over in detail, but it was Malignant. New James Wan film.
Pretty new. Yeah, the newest one he's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And we are at Artu here in the North End.
Yes. It's easy to remember if you like Star Wars.
Exactly.
Which I do.
Right. Yeah.
R2-D2.
Who doesn't? If you don't like Star Wars, well, there are people who don't.
Yeah, they're fools.
They might like Malignant, or they might not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That'd be a survey.
So, I'll let everybody know. I actually saw Malignant first.
Yes.
And I thought it would be perfect for dinner and a movie.
Yes.
I was very excited for you to see it. And from your reaction in the theater, I think I was correct.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure how I was meant to react to some of the things, because I was like, well, this is pretty cool, but also kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, very.
Some of the opening action with the doctors was a little... Well, who was the first one? It was Mike Mendez.
Yeah, very
Neal
cool.
pointed
Former
out
guest on Without Your Head. Multiple time guest.
Yeah, and well, it's very early, and I don't think it's gonna be a spoiler to say some like violent thing happens. So, hello.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, let's put on everything.
We got it. We get messy a little bit.
It's all right. It's snowing cheese.
What a lovely guy.
Yeah, very nice. The food looks amazing.
Yes, this is quite beautiful. I can't remember the name of my pasta, but I thought we were gonna go
We could do it.
in like this. That I feel like you can turn it so they could see the goo.
Yeah,
Because it's beautiful. This really is. That chicken breast is like, can you see? It's like all amazing.
Yeah, it looks wild. So this was, I was very happy because I don't eat a lot of pasta or bread anymore. We can get some bread here, but low carb now on dinner movie on this anyway. And so this was a stuffed chicken with spinach and cheese, and then it came with potatoes and roasted peppers. That's very exciting.
I don't know what mine is. It has eggplant and tomatoes and pasta.
Sounds good. Honestly, I don't think you'd go wrong with anything that was on the menu.
I might take a moment. I don't even know. I don't want to dirty anything, but yeah, you can see that.
Yeah.
That's like
It's very steamy.
like mouth death.
Whoa.
So Mike Mendez, there's something monstrous going on behind the door, and it's all this commotion and craziness happening, really intense. And Mike Mendez goes to reach in the door to get the being that's in there, and it's like, and pulls his arm away, and there's like this giant like broken bone protruding, and he's like, it's like so over the top.
Yeah.
It's Mike Mendez, so that's amazing, but it's just like to open something so silly. I'm like, what am I in for? It's going to be totally foolish.
I really think the performance in the movie, like a lot of them there's a vibe where there's a lot of silliness over the top, almost not quite parody, but then there's some parts of the movie it isn't, so it is a little bit of an odd mix, I think.
Yes.
I don't know if the movie itself knows exactly what it was going for, because to me, the strength of the movie is the opening and then about 45 minutes into the movie. And to me, it was almost like he made a big budget, like 80s VHS, schlocky horror film, but with a big budget, which is a very strange thing to do. But at the same time, like there's a lot of it that isn't quite like that. So.
It was funny, you said you didn't want to tell me things, and you said, well, about halfway it changes a lot. I liked the beginning. I thought it was an interesting story. I'm like, all right, I can hang in here. It was definitely much slower than the rest of it, but I walked in blind. Like, I haven't seen trailers. I didn't look at any
the first time I did too, which I honestly, I know you guys are watching this, but this movie especially, I think if you go in not much knowing much about it, and the first time I saw it, it was not packed, but it was a fairly big crowd.
and there is pretty early. You know that I'll just say there is a monster involved. You are not ready to see this.
No.
This even in the beginning. The monster changes throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I don't want to say more than that, but in the beginning, you don't know the whole story.
No, so you don't know what's going on, but just there's a lot of digital in the movie, but the monster at that point, and a couple times it's practical, and it's very, very fun. Makes me laugh, and to me, really, like, it's a lot of it seems like if this would have came out in the 80s, like 1/100th of the budget, it would be like this classic film that people talk about, like a basket case and stuff.
See, I think it's so funny because you think it's wicked cheesy. I can see that being almost like a thing. That's just the acting in the beginning is so far out, like way.
Yeah.
It's so, like, the doctors are like, what does the one say? Time to cut out this cancer. And it's so bad.
Oh yeah.
But I think the monster's kind of cool.
I think he's
silly,
fun. Yeah.
But I was like, oh, okay. I think there's a lot of stuff in there that was very original. Mm-hmm. I think as a monster transformed, the ideas, some of it was not.
Yeah, it's sort of about the basic setup's a little bit basket case. There'll be some spoilers here, but not a totally conjoined twin, but kind of. But it's also not really a supernatural, but there's kind of supernatural elements because it can use electricity and feeds off electricity.
I know they made a movie. I didn't see it. Did you read The Dark Half or listen to it for Stephen King?
No, I've seen the movie, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I don't know if the movie's any good, but the book was excellent, and I was like, oh, this has vibes from that.
I think there's an episode of Tales from the Crypt that's a little similar to with the ice cream man.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Where they're twins and they're connected like at the back.
Yeah?
But it's a little different. I mean, because this is more monstrous. But
I wish I knew what this was, because I'd tell you.
I know what mine is. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mine's pretty good. I think yours, I'm a little jealous of yours, to be honest.
You want a piece
beautiful.
over here?
I will take a piece. Yeah, I don't know if you'd want a piece of this. It's not, it's good, but it's not like, wow. I mean, do we spoiler it?
Probably have to.
Yeah, what are we going to say if we don't?
Yeah, because there's a big twist. So if you don't want to know everything about it, because first of all, if you haven't seen the movie yet, I recommend just going in right now, go watch it. Mm-hmm. I do recommend seeing it in a theater if possible.
Yeah.
If you have to watch it at home, it's on HBO Prime, I think. I mean, HBO Max, I think. But I would see it at the theater if possible. It really adds to the enjoyment. Also, if you see it with people, it's very fun.
Mm-hmm. There were definitely some parts I did laugh.
Oh yeah, I was laughing. Honestly, to me, once they get to the prison scene, the movie really is just batshit crazy.
I was literally thinking.
It's just nuts and very fun, and it's got like the fighting is kind of Matrixy, which is weird, and I don't know if it even fits, but I enjoyed it.
I thought it was actually. If things didn't end up the way they did, it wouldn't have been an amazing villain. I thought, like, this is such a unique, very comic book-like villain.
Yeah.
Has power.
Could keep coming back.
Oh, that's true, because the ending is a little mysterious.
The delivery at the end is kind of like a lot of stuff at the beginning. It's very silly, bad.
Backstory is, this is a basket case thing, so there's a girl who has, it's not a conjoined twin, it's like one of those growths, like attached to, like it was coming out of her brain, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like it was like, yeah, and then over time it just got bigger, and the mother was like, I can't handle this, and there was some like institute for children with conjoined things and different kinds of medical oddities, so to speak. And these people would do surgeries and do these like amazing procedures.
And the shots of them doing the surgery are really gross and done really well though.
There's definitely body horror.
Yeah.
A lot.
And it's a kind of a neat idea that they cut off as much as they can, but they can't cut it all completely because it's connected to the brain. So they like stick
So
the
they got,
rest
like,
of it into
cages.
the. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So so what happens is there's like everything's connected to the spine, but there's like arms and legs like flailing around. Not like human ones either. They're like these skinny like chicken legs.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Mr. Show. But.
So it's flapping around and like its face is all like in what's the Hannibal movie with that dude, right?
Yeah,
you know exactly what I'm talking about. What's his name? Mason
Verger, yeah.
Yes, Mason Verger. Who saw the movie, and it's Gary Oldman. He looks like someone like just beat him in the face. Mm-hmm. It's like that. It's like this monstrous, fleshy thing, and it's like and lights are flickering and everything. So that's attached to the back. So its face is her normal child face is in the front, and there's long hair, and there's mutant on the back.
She has super thick long hair,
yes.
Which is when the first time I saw it, it was kind of off. It's like it looks so fake, like her hair. So it was kind of odd. Like, but then it makes sense in the movie. Other than you wouldn't be able to do it otherwise.
Yes. So she's got this thing, and like Neal was saying, so they're like sawing off the like arms, and then there's like an actual extra rib cage, and you see them like getting
and cutting off the arm.
It's really great. But the thing's still like screaming.
And really, that adds to the. It makes more sense for the thing to be so. Well, he's kind of evil way before that, but you would think that would really set him off though when he's just really just obliterated. Besides like his little bit of his mind. That's
well, like what if someone was to cut you apart, but you didn't die?
Right.
Like I'd be pretty upset. I would not be into that at all.
No.
I think a little vengeance is in order, to be honest.
Right.
I'm feeling differently about this movie entirely.
But
he's like an anti-hero.
Yeah, they don't make him a sympathetic character, but honestly, he could with that backstory.
Seriously.
The stuff with the electricity doesn't really work for me too much.
I think
I think you
have.
Yeah, I was going to say they really needed a device that it could communicate and make sense.
Transmit over distance.
Yeah, because it would make sense if it was communicating right through her. Everyone would know right away that she was the creature.
So they have a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, and there's different times that technology comes into play where sometimes other people hear it, like as further you go, and the cops. Yeah. So what they do, we've got the head on the back of her head, and it's like, and her like skull is open enough for it to be growing out. So they literally, you see the back of the head, and they just like shove it into the like,
and then just put the skull back
yeah,
up.
they just like close it up. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's like screaming. It's like, get in there. So whatever the regular brain is now has this squashed monster on top of it.
I have a lot of respect for James Wan for making this because he's made these giant movies. He made like Aquaman and
Didn't he make other horror movies though?
Oh yeah, Raw movies, and then made the Conjuring world, and made these giant movies. So then makes this really crazy movie, and I think this is just something he had to have just wanted to do. And I don't think if he had if he didn't have the track record, I don't think he would have got like so much funding for this. Like I don't think people would be like, no, I don't think we're making this.
Then it would be basket case level.
Oh yeah,
it would be. You're right. If there wasn't the money, it would definitely. You're right. Absolutely. But my God, so.
There's some weird stuff that there's like this weird flirting between the police detective and the sister, and it seems so silly, but very very out of place with what's happening.
And before that though, so there's like a CSI crime scene person, like nerdy girl, and she's got glasses, and so there's like the detective, and she's kind of flirty with him, and it's like, well, this is interdepartmental. They've known each other, and this is their world.
Yeah, and you made the comment to me like they'd be used to this stuff. So okay.
At that point in the movie, it wasn't like monsters coming out of the back of people's heads. So at that point, it was normal for the police.
Right.
Well, the murders were pretty grisly.
Yeah. It was still kind of out of place, but at least
one of the faces smashed in. I thought maybe that was like on purpose because their face was so smashed in.
That's
But
true.
then
Yeah,
the
they
last
don't go
one wasn't
into
like
it. Yeah,
that.
they
The
don't
guy
go-
in the tub.
There was a few like that, but yeah, they don't go
Yeah.
too into that. But
I wish they did it with everybody. I think that would have been a good little extra.
I love how just violent the deaths are. There's one where she just stomps on someone's head and it just explodes.
explodes.
Yeah.
Oh, the prison scene is like wonderful. It's wonderfully violent.
I honestly think that's one of my favorite scenes. Well, it's my favorite scene in the movie, but I think it's one of the best scenes in a modern horror movie.
Very interesting. It is crazy. It's like the Matrix horror movie.
Yeah, it's one of the
Because it
most
really-
memorable scenes. I'd actually be in agreement if people think it's a terrible scene or a great scene.
I don't think anything is terrible. It's amazing.
I love it. I
it's
find it
great.
very
It's
entertaining.
amazing.
It's very entertaining.
It's amazing.
And at that point, he just goes all out at that point. That's like the culmination of all this movie. And it's just it's like an ultra violent, and it's a mix of horror and Matrix and action and insanity, and the acting is so weird, and there's like all the characters in it are like, there's like a 70s like prostitute in there for some reason, and
Because that's what makes money. So the acting, I think, isn't crazy over the top, other than the doctors in the beginning is really bad. Bad. It's over the top. It's fun. I think the rest of the people do pretty good. But I think something critical to mention, if we're spoiling it, so this monster is communicating with the main female, the lead female, who is the one who was the mom couldn't take care of the two kids because there was a conjoined twin, couldn't deal with it. It wasn't a bad person. It was just like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
You people are specialists and you're willing to do it, so you can help. I cannot. The woman was 15. It wasn't even like an adult. It was a 15-year-old who said, my mom's not willing to help me, their family wasn't willing to help. What were they going to do? Really, what could you do? You can't have a facility.
yeah.
So, all right, so they detach it, and then, but the thing is still in the head, which you don't know until later.
In the prison scene.
Yes, and so in the movie, there's like this dark shadow, but it ends up being like a monster, and it's got like this long, like you don't even see his face for a long time. It's just long, like almost like it's
Almost like the
Ju-on
Ring.
and so it's Japanese.
It has that
long,
movement.
hairy- Yeah.
But the movement makes sense because it's from it's
Well,
the
that's
back
the
of
thing,
it. Yeah.
is that, so you see this monster and it's moving all like jerky and crazy, but really fast. It's like a spider. It's really
Yeah.
crazy.
So at
It's
first
like
I think it's
around.
just like that's like the typical thing in these horror
Yeah.
movies.
But that's not what it was. It wasn't because it was like this crazy mutant. Well, it's a mutant.
Yeah.
But like double jointed, weird spider person. It was because. So you end up seeing this like beaten in like this plate of leftover stuff face, and it's like, holy shit, this is scary. And it's got like a jacket on, and it's like
Yeah, and it
makes
has
a weapon
it has
out of
out of a trophy.
It's a very nice looking weapon.
Yeah, and it's also cool once after the prison scene when you know that it's part of the main woman, because then her face is always like on the back of the head, and it's always just kind of not dead, but it's like comatose. So it adds to this weird creeping factor where it's the crazy monster kills stuff with like this comatose normal woman on the back of the head.
So that's the big reveal, is that as this monster is killing, the woman goes into like this state of like consciousness where she's suddenly transported to the scene of the murder.
Yeah, that
And she's
stuff's
like,
done good
"Stop,
actually.
stop, stop," and it's really disturbing
Yeah.
her, and she sees the murder happen, and then she like goes back to reality and is trying to say, oh, this person's being killed, to her sister and the cops, and they're like, ah, bullshit, you're crazy.
Yeah, and then once you find out the secret, that stuff actually, because my second viewing, I knew that going in. Mm-hmm. So that stuff actually played better, I think,
Really?
than the first time I watched it. Because I was like, I'm not sure what's happening, which you should know at that time. But there's a lot of little things, the second viewing. But I think that stuff's done well. That's interesting. That that she can see what's going on because she's still actually there.
Yes.
In a way, you're kind of seeing how the monster or Gabriel is seeing her life.
Yes.
He's there, but he's not completely experiencing it.
Yes, he's not in the full control.
Yeah, he's just kind of he's like
So the big reveal, I don't know if it was quite like totally spelled out, is that so there's this goofy, it's not goofy, I actually think it's pretty cool. It's this jerky monster, it's got this big black coat and a weapon, and it's, do you know the cover I've never seen the movie, the cover of Night Flyer? It's a right? Kind of like that.
Actually, the face is very cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a very funny scene too. Is when she draws, she says she saw the face of the killer,
and she's in the police station doing like the.
And so the sketch it's like this sketch of this crazy monster face, and it's funny to even think like she was telling it to somebody, and they were just sitting there drawing it out, and it's a very funny
and not just
scene.
be like.
Yeah. It's like,
well, they could have been making like a look like. The whole time she's explaining it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, nuts. So the deal is, so she is in and out of these horror scenes of this monstrous being, and then eventually, I think it's in jail. So she's put in jail. She's like yelling, "I shouldn't be here," that because she's telling the truth. The cops think she's a killer, so she's in the holding cell. And then there's all the other women in the holding cell, and it's like these rugged women who have different
this scene's
problems,
happening. They're showing the other scene where her sister is finding out about the mom.
The biological.
Yeah.
Then the sister finds out that they're not blood
And so
relatives.
these are like paralleled at the same time. So you're just getting the backstory as you get then the big reveal of.
Because the girl who was separated from the twin, she was 8 years old when she got adopted. Because then she was just a kid with a giant scar on the back, I'm sure. But they're like, oh, I'm sure they must have explained to her. Oh, she was burned or whatever.
Right.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely. There's a lot of things you. There's a lot of things you just have to go with.
Yeah. Suspend the disbelief. So in the jail, she's in there with these very rugged women who, you could tell they've had hard lives, and these prostitutes, and they're very rough.
Yeah.
And so they start because she's being very I shouldn't be here. And then they're kind of like, who the fuck do you think you are, bitch? And so they start harassing her, and then they start kicking the shit out of her.
Yeah, just really violent,
like curb stomp kinds of.
And just beat pounded, or no one comes or anything, just beat. And then that's when Gabriel comes, really saves her, honestly.
That's true. She would have died. Yeah, it's like, so you see her and she's on the ground, she's beat, and then all of a sudden she comes. She's like, her body's all funky, and she gets up, she lurches forward, and then her body, you see her from the back, and her body's all popping all crazy, and then you can see the hair on the back of her head parts, and you see the fucking monster face. You see the mashed up mutant face, and it's like, holy shit.
It's a great reveal.
I'm pulling my hair.
Yeah.
So this freaking monster, it's been under her hair the whole time, and so when it comes to life, it's her. So she's the thing is pops also, shit is and
it's one of the best reveals, I think, of a villain.
I think so. It's freaking incredible. It's so original, and then Neal was
and they stick with the two. They don't cut away. You get to really see it,
And then so you see it.
Ultraviolence.
Yes. So when it turns around, then you see her, like you said, she's in the woman,
like a comatose, just hanging.
Yeah, and she's her face is just hanging off the back of her head. It's very creepy.
Yeah,
that's a little bit silly looking.
Yeah, it definitely. It walks the line between silly and horror. But I mean, a lot of movies I love do too. So it totally worked for me.
I think the intent was probably to be scared.
Because I've seen people debate this. I kind of think he knew he was making kind of a schlocky movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a debate. Some people
Yeah.
don't think he was, and some people, I think he
Well,
was.
because like think about like the Conjuring movies, right?
But I will say I watched Dead Silence for the first time in a while for an interview, and I have to admit it's a very silly movie. And that was one of his first movies he directed, and so I think just very similar vibe. It's good, it's cool, it's got a lot of cool visuals, but it's also kind of a silly film.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Conjuring and the Annabelle, I think those are all meant to be serious. I don't like those
I
movies,
agree.
but so I think if you find those are your serious movies,
Yeah.
and I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that wasn't
right.
the intent.
Part of the enjoyment for me is knowing that like fans of Conjuring movies are kind of like that's like a mainstream horror movie. And to me, it's kind of typical that they would go into this and then get something that's totally crazy. I think that idea is very funny to me, and just not just funny, but fun and enjoyable.
I like that.
So I don't know what they think. Like I know a lot of people who normally really like James Wan movie hated this.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's not.
But
like
I've
those
seen a lot
other
of people
movies.
love it too. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing is my word.
I agree.
Well, I love that, so that monster that when it's on the flip side, its body's all like mutant, but it can use like the forward body and the backward body.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it runs backwards, which is it's very loud.
And sometimes on all fours. And
Yeah, it's really. It's great. It's a great monster, but because it can do all that crazy shit like with its body, it can go all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, it just flies around different areas and.
It just
even said
slaughters
it right
everybody.
at the point, like at the very end, and they're fighting over the body. It's like I can use the body better, and it's true.
Yeah.
Because it can go frontwards and backwards.
Yeah. Near the end, like in the spoiler, you think like, wow, this movie's really going dark here because it kills the sister, and
Yes.
but then you find out that's all a trick.
Smothers a mother.
Yeah. And part of me was a little disappointed it was a trick because like, wow, this movie's just totally like gone for it. But it was you probably don't want
There's
to
a
kill
lot
it.
of
You kill the innocent sister and mom. But there's a great shot of the mom in the corner when the sisters are having a really heart-to-heart,
Yeah, at
and
the
she has
very
this
end.
real giant big grin on her face,
Yeah,
just
it's
like
like
so super happy.
all these people
She just woke
died.
up out of a coma from 35 years ago.
Yeah, and this woman who's like had to be parted from her insanely mutant conjoined twins. She had to give these kids up. She was 15 and go away, and then is in her like coma room.
Yeah.
Wakes up. There's this fucking monster in there, flipping out and trying to kill people. I'm sure. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. It's like. So yeah, the monster's put away, and the sister, the biological sister of the woman in the bed, and then the woman in the bed's like bio child. They're like, "Oh, you're my real sister."
And like you brought up, like all this like I keep saying ultraviolence. All these people are killed. Like the whole police department slaughtered, and all these other like doctors and everyone's killed, and they're just happy that that they have a bond that they're sisters, which is nice. But
Yeah, it's
you
nice,
know,
but maybe take that up next week.
Yeah, and then there's even the thought like her body. She does say it's still her body. So her body did kill all these people at the same time. So
I know. I was kind of wondering
is she just
what's going to happen with
just
that.
everybody's like, oh yeah, it was her monster twin. It's fine. I don't know.
So yeah, there's all this gore, bloodshed, mayhem in front of the mom, the biological mom, and she's in her hospital bed, and it pans out, and you see the two girls on the floor like holding each other in this deep embrace of everything's going to be okay, and then you see the mom laying down, and then you see she's looking over them like smiling really big.
I think it's it's
Like
nice.
she's cherishing the moment.
There might have been a little bit of sacrifice, but they all learned a valuable lesson.
It's so true.
And then
Them freaking tumor babies.
one of my
It's so
favorites.
freaking terrible.
This
You might have
brings
to
back
edit that
memory
one out.
of dinner in the movies.
I've broken the seal.
I don't want people to think there's like a real weird episode of dinner movie. I'm saying that brings back memories of dinner movie saying inappropriate things in a public place. But the
I didn't notice. They're
intoxicated. What's I? Oh, so the very end scene it makes me just laugh. So it's inside her mind, and and Gabriel's like, you can't leave me here forever. So it's like she's got Gabriel, in her in the prison in her head, so he can't. He's like, but you can't do it here forever because I'll be back. And she's like, yes, but I'll be prepared. And she closes, and it's like so. In all honesty, that's the delivery is so. It's so cheesy. But it makes
even
me
the
love
prison
it.
in her mind is bad.
Oh yeah, it's
plain.
Yeah, it seems like a
bars.
really cheap movie where it's just total blackness in the background and bars.
Like this is something the interns did.
But
That's how I feel about all the sci-fi movies like that. That's for the intern.
I am curious about the intent and a lot of this stuff. Was it meant to be cheesy or is it just cheesy? And then in your mind you think, oh, that's what he was doing. Because there's so many different genres mixed up in this movie. Like it's horror. I'm not a big. It's not that I dislike him. I just don't know. I have a lot of giallo background, but I know a lot of people said there's a lot of giallo stuff in it. Like a killer that's in the black glove has like a knife. The different red colors and stuff.
I did see one hallway shot that I actually critiqued in my mind. I'm like, because Candyman is shot, like whatever you say, you don't like it. It was shot beautifully. There were hallway shots that was like no reason to make it as beautiful as it was, and it was just stunning. And I thought of Argento, because they were just it was just masterful. But then I saw a shot there. It has like a red door, so I'm like, you people, I can tell you're trying. If I didn't see Candyman like a week ago, I would have been like, oh, that's nice, but like homage kind of thing. We didn't do it. Sorry.
I do. It's quick about Candyman. I do hope we get it at like extended director's cut, because my only issue with the movie is we will do a dinner movie about this someday, but is the final act seems very rushed compared to the rest of the movie.
Oh yeah.
It almost seems like that was edited down to be shorter, but whatever. But I still actually really do like the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Well, I think if you really, really like a movie,
you look over.
There's just things that you just. It's almost like you edit it. For me, anyways, it's like I just edited that. Like that didn't really happen.
Well, so much good stuff you don't want to, take away from it. Malignant, just a fun movie. I had a good time. I don't know what you call it. I mean, it's horror. You could call it it's definitely horror. It's very gory and a crazy monster, but it's a weird mix of. And I normally don't like the Matrix style fighting, but it was so strange in this movie, and it made sense with the monster. Like I said, there's stuff you just have to go with, like why does the monster make her superhuman strength, but what the hell? Who cares? It's a monster. It's a crazy monster movie.
Because when it goes backwards, it builds up its body. It's doing like multiple exercises, so it's like.
There's an end scene, like we're getting spoilers here. She says like it's always been my body, so she's apparently super strong, so she can just throw this giant bed.
It's not that big.
She's not very. She's
not
very
big,
slender woman.
That's true. I was thinking, I'm really strong. I maybe could budget. It's like a big hospital bed, like a hydraulic hospital bed, and she's like, oh.
And I'm a big fan of just squishing a human's head.
Because I had super.
Oh yeah. Well, that comes off.
Which is crazy.
People like if they're saving their kid or something, they can do stuff.
It was great. I thought people were going to die because of where the car was on the road, because you can't see around the corner.
Yeah.
That was wild.
I'm a big fan of smashing someone's head in with just a stomp, and it just totally obliterates the whole head.
Like if you stepped on a grape.
Yeah. I don't think that's at all possible, but I don't care. It's awesome.
Super strength. I'll just point out that, so earlier today when Neal and I met, we're having coffee, get ready to go to the movie, And I looked down, I'm like, man, he's been to like a strip club or something, because he had like this little like fleck of
Well, I've
glitter
been here.
on it.
I've been here since like 8 in the morning or something.
Well, I will let you know.
I don't know if anything's open that early, but yeah.
People are, yeah, they're still open from the night before. Breakfast menu? I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe it's probably like 9. I can stay
So the
up.
reason I mention it is because there's one on the top of your head.
Oh, really?
There's one like right here.
I don't know. What happens before dinner in a movie stays before dinner. It doesn't work, but whatever.
So
What happens at Haymarket? If anyone knows Haymarket, like that's like a really like, yeah.
It's a bunch of farmers selling vegetables. So my thought was either he went to a strip club, or more likely Neal just likes glitter so much he buys like bags of glitter and dumps it on his bed, and then it's just like doing snow
That would be
angels in the
pretty sweet.
glitter.
That would be pretty sweet. That's gonna be the new opening of Dinner in a Movie. It's gonna be clips of us. Annabelle's doing. I don't know what you're doing, but and then it's me just in the glitter. I like it.
Oh my god. I turned away ashamed.
That works.
Because there.
Yeah, that works.
You can kind of see it.
It's really good.
It's very nice. What a beautiful phone.
Malignant, I recommend it. It's a movie I see everyone talking about. Some love it, some hate it. Which, honestly, that's the best kind of movies to me.
That's true. Make your
It's definitely not a movie I think you would watch and just be like, it's okay, or like you'd be like kind of indifferent about. I think you'd have a pretty strong opinion one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not just a typical movie. Yeah, but for me, it's
But then
definitely
that would
not
be you
like
don't
a.
like it.
It's definitely not just some typical movie that you've seen a million times.
No, I've never seen. I mean, there's elements like this
Sure,
is so
sure.
perfect.
It's
the
a
basket case
combination
trick.
of a lot of. Yeah,
So
that's
there
right.
are things, but it does have its own independent stuff. As far as I know, maybe there's other movies out there, but no, I liked it.
Well,
I thought
you know,
it was
even
very-
though like it's similar to this, but also like Basket Case doesn't have like Matrix fighting.
No, it doesn't.
And you know, so like everything combined, it's
And
a very
it was very
bizarre.
mysterious.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't expect what was going to happen.
No, I saw a lot of people
Anyway.
saying they figured out right away in the opening
No.
scene. But I don't believe that either.
The opening scene, you don't even know what's happening. You just see the monster. How the fuck can you know? Lies.
I agree. I don't know if it would. I don't know. Maybe it would affect my enjoyment if I did figure it out, but I don't think it would. I like it for. I like it for just the craziness of the movie and the fact that it is a big budget mainstream movie. But I mean, that's what I like that about it. But I also do just enjoy it as a movie. So.
Yeah, I liked it. I think if it was a low budget, I would love it.
Yeah, that's
think it
how
was-
I've said this on on Facebook.
Yes, I think if it was low budget, like I want someone to make it again, the same movie.
A remake instead of
Yeah,
a big
don't
budget
change
remake,
it.
a low budget remake.
Low budget
This
remake,
should be a new thing.
Yes.
Forget the
I
big.
love it.
Yeah, because they always ruin the movies we love. Like, oh, let's make this with a giant
Yes.
budget. They make it lame. Let's take like these giant movies and remake them for $1,000 or something, or $100. I don't know, but it could be a low budget anyway. Maybe we can get some backers on this.
I think so. We have to be passing this movie out, and not illegally, but sharing the good word.
Right,
It's like this wonderful show.
Yeah. Well, this has been a very happy day for me.
Yeah, it's been great. We avoided the rain.
Yes.
Yes, I do have games too. I don't know where we're at for time.
It was very nice to see you again. It's the first time seeing you since the pandemic.
Yes, I know. This is
We
it.
started hanging out, and then this COVID, yeah. Which I want everyone to be safe, and it's almost like the end of the movie where the twins are like well, not twins, but the sisters. Everyone's dead, but hey, we're sisters. And everything's great.
Oh my
it's
god,
like,
yeah, it's like that everybody, like
yeah,
people
it's like,
die.
we couldn't see you. We couldn't play. We couldn't play Uno. Yeah, because of
Joel Reed
COVID. That was
Rest
the
in
bad
peace,
thing. Yeah.
Joel Reed.
Yeah, Joel Reed, amazing guy. Really, it's really. Shame we didn't get to see him again
Yeah.
after the last time we met him.
Yeah. If you don't know, Joel Reed made a few crazy films, but the one that's known is Bloodsucking Freaks. And it's like, you want to talk about a you don't expect it movie, but that's like total schlock foolishness. That did not, Joel did not set out to make like, this is going to be my masterful. Well, I guess it was his masterpiece, really, but it was. It's fantastic.
I love it.
There's nudity, if that sells any of you on it. There's a lot of nude women.
There is. I don't think there's any nudity in Malignant.
No, which is I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like you shouldn't, like, I get it. I get that is a thing that a lot of people associate with like less.
All right. So how many thingamajiggies are you giving this? Yeah.
About, I'm gonna say,
How many reverse bodies?
on a 5-point
How many
scale,
Gabriels?
I should just buy like a relatively new one.
How many
How many?
exploded heads?
Yeah. How many?
How many curb stomped
I like
heads?
that. That's a good one.
Exploded
Yeah.
heads.
Exploded heads. We'll get
Without your head.
Yeah. There you go.
It's not my favorite. Like,
It's a weird one to rate because I'm not gonna say it's on. I really enjoy it,
yes.
but I wouldn't say it's like my I wouldn't say it's like my favorite thing.
5 is like you got
Yeah.
really. I would say a 4. If you're not using half points, I'd say 4. A 4. A strong.
Okay, because I was gonna say 3.5. So
wow.
so I think 4 works.
You said it twice though as well. Do you think you would have given it the same both times?
What?
Think you would have given it 4 the first time you saw it, or
I probably would have gave it 4 the first time I saw it because the first time I saw it, I actually liked the second time, but the first time I saw it was just like it really stuck with me. It was just a really fun experience in the theater. It was very memorable. It made me laugh. And I also liked it. I liked all the crazy gore. It's really just batshit crazy. So I'm just going to go with 4 because I always
now you just talked yourself into it.
yeah, our grading system has always been about our personal enjoyment of the movie. Because I honestly enjoy Basket Case as much as I enjoy watching Taxi Driver. But does that mean I think it's good of a movie?
Like skill.
Right. I mean, it's a different.
points.
What does that even mean? It's a good movie. I enjoy them both. So. Yeah, let's go 4. I like it.
Yeah, 4.
It's something I think all horror fans should go see.
Yeah, I liked it quite a lot. Even if you don't like it, you'll have seen it, and then it's worth seeing.
Yeah.
It's worth seeing because at the very least you can hate it and bitch about
It's
it.
definitely not a movie that just comes and you totally forget the next, right after you finish watching it.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. So watch it. Go on the group.
Yeah, let
Love
us know
it,
what
hate it,
because I've seen a lot of people one way or the other. So
Yes.
it's weird because I see people really talk about the performances and like the story, and I'm not saying that's not important, but I don't know if that's really how you gauge this movie.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that's a good point because whether or not I think it was meant to be silly or serious, it's not trying to be like a Taxi Driver.
Right,
It's
right.
definitely not trying to be that.
No.
No. It's not going to go for an Academy Award.
No, he made a specific kind of wacko movie.
Yes, and the acting I think it's fine, except for the silly people.
Yeah,
Like Mendez.
I think a lot of it was intentional, but I don't know. Who knows? I like that's even there as a debate, as it's intentional.
Yes, it's a good debate.
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah.
And how about R2s?
Artu was pretty good. I wish I got a different meal, but I liked what I got, but it wasn't like, but I don't think that means anything about the restaurant. I think I just didn't choose a dish that I was listening to.
Yeah, my meal was delicious,
Cappuccino's good.
and the
Drink was
service
good.
was. I'd give the service a 5, honestly.
Yes. Yeah, he was
Very friendly.
Really.
A very personable guy.
We're kind of weird, and most of the people here are pretty normal.
Yeah.
So,
And the place itself was very accommodating. I really like the food. I'll go 4 for it.
yeah, 4 for food. I wouldn't be like, every time I come to town, I'm like, we gotta go there.
Right.
But, Yeah, so fours are a good score.
I think I agree. You know what I think that makes all of this? When I think about it, it was good food.
It was pretty good drinks.
Good friends.
And all that together makes some really good times.
I agree. Good time. Throw that all in a blender. You make a good time smoothie.
Good time smoothie.
Yeah.
Do you lose weight or gain weight?
Maybe that's a new name of the show.
Good time smoothie. Put it to the vote.
Good time. Yeah,
Good time smoothie.
With Neal and Annabelle.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about that going weird places.
Yeah, it's
It sounds like a dirty movie name.
Yeah, so it makes me laugh,
So
but
it's-
it's a one-time name. But yeah, whatever.
This episode.
Yeah,
Great to be here. I really enjoyed this.
I did too. It was very fun.
Here we are,
Yes.
making these, watching movies,
Good smoothie.
talking about them too long,
Exactly.
complaining,
Exactly.
loving.
It's right back in the groove of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
So great to be here, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It really is. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
It's getting a little emotional.
I agree. It's been very fun. It's like, I didn't know we'd ever do this again, and then it just really all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
I think we were both like, yeah, that would be fun.
Yes. Kind of like
Well,
it's
so-
always like well, why don't we try
Like
this?
a lot of things,
always comes
it's
together.
overthinking things, but then it's always a lot of fun when you do it.
Absolutely. So it's been great, and I hope to see you again soon. Find us online, Without Your Head,
Yes. With Dear Annabelle Lecter.
Dear Annabelle Lecter, so facebook.com. I know it should be on Instagram, but I'm old, and I have an Instagram, but I don't use it. So facebook.com/
I know, whenever I have
Dear
a
Annabelle
younger guest on the show, they always be like, oh yeah, they make fun of old people on Facebook, and I'm like,
something.
just subscribe to us on YouTube.
Find YouTube.
Yeah. That's still around.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, find us.
do it.
That's that.